All right, everybody, this will be warning all politicians I'm running for president 2024. This will be part 124A. You make that out there. Some kind of snowy, drizzly mix falling. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you don't get busted by stormtroopers because you got a couple more people in your house than your governor or state legislature says you should, while they all go off and break all the rules they're trying to impose on you. So, wanted to continue with what I was saying, there would be stipulations to getting this $50,000. And 200 billion a year. I'm pretty sure just all the corporate taxes in the country cover that. Maybe you could do something like that. Whatever the corporate taxes are. I didn't look that up. But people say, "Oh, these corporations making all this money, whatever." However, well, here you go. Some people would use that money for education and investing and what have you. Other people, I'm sure most would buy. You need a car. Hopefully, they would be prudent and not go out and get into super bunch of debt. You would have to curtail all the predatory lenders, and you would have to make it illegal. You see these companies now, like you hit the lottery or you got a settlement or something like that coming that they'll like, hey, we'll give you the money now. You don't have to wait for it. You'd have to make all that kind of stuff. Maybe you put a stipulation on it, that, like I said, one of them is, keeping your nose clean. You can't be incarcerated and get the money. Maybe you put another stipulation on there. You also have to graduate high school. That be an incentive to graduate high school. Hey, you graduate high school, you're going to get 50 grand. How's them apples? How's that sound? You think that would better our society? Some other things. You look at the election going on now and everything. You say, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to do this for our people. Also, you can't be an illegal and get this money. Also, you're going to change the immigration law that people misuse and anchor babies. Oh, if you're born here, you're automatically a citizen. That clause was put into the founding documents and into immigration law to make sure that the slaves were counted as citizens of the United States. That's all it was meant for. It wasn't meant that if somebody else comes here from another country and has a kid that the kid's automatically a citizen. It's not what it was meant for. It was meant so people couldn't say the slaves weren't citizens. So the slave could say, "No, I was born here. I'm an American." So you'd have to tighten up the immigration laws, and also, to get that on the table and everything. You also say we're going to do something to make sure illegals aren't voting in our elections, and all these schemes to we're gonna secure our voting system. People act like, oh, a little voter fraud, this and that. We can see there's clear evidence there was more than just a little that went on in this election. That there were people who plotted on ways to fix the vote tallies. So you need tougher penalties for people, like life in prison. How about that? Life in prison. You know why? Because our founding fathers fought and died for you to have these rights, to have a say in your government. In every war since then, every soldier has gone out there male and female, and all the people and all their families who supported them and everything, to defend this country and defend those rights, have shed their blood all around this world. And for people to say, oh, it's no big thing if you let illegals vote. It's no big thing if you let them go into the prisons and pander to convicts and stuff, and they should be allowed to vote. It's no big thing if you use these computers with software and stuff that's going to fix the vote. That's no big deal. It is a big deal. People have died so that you can have the right to vote. Not just died. They gave up their lives. Granted, some of them not willingly. They were forced into the wars or drafted in. But there was a lot of them who, do you think it's an easy thing for somebody in the military? You have a family, you have a life, and then all of a sudden you have to go into action? You're not just giving your life, your flesh and blood life. You're giving up everything. All the possibilities that could be, your dreams, everything. For the sake of the nation and for the other people who live in the country. You're leaving people behind to have to face the world without you. And I don't think a lot of people on the left understand that. It's not just about, KIAs. There's life stories that go, whole lives that are by everybody who knew that soldier, who was family to that soldier. It is more than just one life. And speaking of war and everything, we need to damn well make sure these politicians aren't just, willy-nilly. Hey, the military's at our beck and call. We can go use them for whatever. We're going to go overthrow this regime. We're going to do this. We want we want our corporate buddies to have control of this resource, and so we're going to send the military in there so that our buddies can get rich. And I think there's a lot of people who look at Trump don't look at the military that way. These other people look at the military that way. Just use them willy-nilly. Well, they joined the military, their ass is ours, we don't care. Should never be looked at that way. You're going to send people to give up everything, not just their physical, life, but everything that's entailed in life, their dreams, their hopes, their families, day-to-day experiences. It's more than just going and laying their physical body on the line. They're walking away from everything to go and defend their country, defend the people of this country. And to use them in a haphazardly way and for all kinds of bullshit reasons is just one of the greatest crimes there is. But I don't think our politicians see it that way anymore. So I think, like I said before, hey, you go in to vote somewhere, or if they decide to keep this mail-in ballot stuff and everything going, hey, you got to make it more foolproof. You got to have a website, a federal and one for each state. Every ballot's going to have a tracking number on it, like a Federal Express envelope. You go in, you cast your ballot. Hey, if there's a computer there you do it on, fine. That's going to also print out 2 copies. One for the pollsters, or the election people, and one for you. It's going to have a tracking number on it. The one you did on the computer is going to have a tracking number on it. Or even if you mail it in, you're going to have a copy. There's going to be a copy for the election people. And then, like I said, there'll be a federal site and a state site. And then you go online and you put your vote in on those websites. Or like one of them, you go in and you not, this won't be like a vote. This will be just where you register how you voted, just as a double check. That's all. It's not going to be counted as a second time or anything. It's just a totally separate from the election computers and everything. All it is a place where people can go and register to vote and have a tally, so that if things need to be checked, it can be done. And then, like, say, once you cast your ballot in your state, automatically, when you did it on their computer, it goes right to their state website. You go home after voting, you look up, you got your tracking number, you look it up, and you make sure your vote was registered, and it was registered for who you voted for. And you also have out there a voter ID. It is 2020. There is no reason you can tell me that requiring somebody to present identification to prove they're a United States citizen before they vote is some kind of hardship. If you can't afford a driver's license or they make some other type of ID or something, or maybe you just make it free. You just got to go get it. Take your birth certificate and your other documentation that proves you're a U.S. citizen. To give you your voter ID card, no charge. And then when you go and vote, there, you got it. You have to present your ID before you get to vote, to keep fraud down. People have died. People have been maimed and their whole lives turned upside down because they went and fought for this country to defend our rights that the founders of this country, not just the founding fathers, but the soldiers, the Continental Army, and all the people who supported them and everything, who fought for all that, for your right to vote, to have a say in your government. And now you're just going to let it go, be cast to the wind, and not take it as serious as it is. It is one of the principles that makes this nation this nation. And people who try and cheat that system should be tried for treason. Whether they're on the left or the right, they should be tried for treason. So you put some things on the table and say, all right, excuse me, we're going to fix these problems. Here's one of the fixes. You keep your nose clean, you get a high school diploma when you're 21. And why do I say 21? Because maybe a little more mature than 18. Not much, granted. I know there wasn't a big difference between me, the age of 21, and 18. In fact, I might have been more irresponsible at the age of 21 than I was at 18. But, however you look at it. And then there's the other problem. Well, what about everybody who's already, beyond the age of 21? So maybe we figure out some other one-time deal for people, for certain people. Say, here you go. And you make it like, here you go. Here's your stake. Here's $50,000. go out and make something of your life. If you go out and act like a fool, blow the money, use it unwisely, don't come crying to us. There are no more handouts. There's not going to be any more welfare, food stamps, etc. And with all that money we save, instead of, $1 trillion a year, it's going to cost us $200 billion a year. With a lot of that money that we save, hey, then you can go out and round up all these homeless people. And you can sort through them and see who has mental problems and do something for them. You can see which ones are criminals and need to be locked up. And you can find the ones people who've just fallen through the cracks, and lost everything because of hard times or some bad thing happened in their lives. And maybe you help them. Here's your one-time deal. To me, it makes more sense than this endless, here you go, every single year. Every single year, the country's going to support you. Every single year. I don't know, what's 50 grand? Is that what? 3, 4, 5 years worth of welfare? What people getting welfare? I don't know. They got to be getting, no, it's probably like 2 years. So here you go. Here's 50 grand. And then plus two, by the age of 21, it would be safe to say or assume that most people would either have a job or some kind of career path or something by then. So even if it's a minimum wage job, but of course, there's going to be people who are going to be stupid with it and everything. But you tell them, hey, guess what? Don't come crying to us. This is it. And you make it adamant to them when they were growing up and going to school. There you go. And then even in legal immigration, you're going to have to look at the numbers of how, because, hey, if you're in some third world country or somewhere, you might not get the 50 grand, but if you get here, even if you get here legally or whatever, hey, then your kid's going to get the 50 grand or whatever. Maybe your kid's already like 17 or something. So you would have to do something to keep an eye on those numbers and not let people boost those numbers. So you get all these people that flood in the country just so their kid can get 50 grand. So, that would give people a boost up. They would have some funds to be able to use to get their lives on track. Maybe make a down payment on a home or something if they already have a good job. Maybe to pay for some schooling. Get themselves a halfway decent car so they can go and get a good job. So they can rent an apartment, if they don't have all that family type support and stuff where, and that's what I say, you gotta, this ain't gonna be for millionaires' kids either. So, all right, I say 4 million births. So, you're gonna take some of those off, like the numbers use, the 1%. So you're gonna take the 1%ers off of that list. Then, unfortunately, you're gonna have, people who die tragically or before their time or whatever, in accidents and stuff before then, or from disease and stuff. So that 4 million, it might go up or down, but as a round number, 200 billion a year. We get rid of what we spend on maintaining and a lot of these nuclear missiles. That's the thing, people, global warming, oh my God, we're good. Do you understand the amount of nuclear weapons in the world? You're talking about, it's gonna global warming. Oh, shit's gonna kill us 100 years down the road or 1,000 years. Do you realize they can wipe us all out in one day with the nuclear weapons on this planet? One day, it can all be destroyed. Well, you don't see no nukes stuff no more. Somehow that's not on the top of anybody's mind. You're worried about the planet. If you're worried about the planet, I'd say worry about the nuclear weapons and the other weapons of mass destruction around the world. You're worried about humanity and the planet? That's what you got to worry about first. Things are backwards. It's like Twilight Zone. People don't have their priorities in any common sense anymore. Seems that, let me see. Global warming may or may not be true. If you look at all the data and stuff, as big as this planet is, it's really kind of hard to say. They can definitely say it's happening to begin with, and then to try and pinpoint the cause of it, anyone who tells you they have is full of shit. You need to look and listen to what other scientists are saying instead of these alarmists. The planet goes through cycles that are totally out of our control. The oceans are rising. Really? How do you measure that the ocean has risen an inch? Tell me. Somebody, please tell me how you can get an accurate measurement on the oceans of the world and say they have all risen an inch. Tell me. What do? Draw a line on the beach? What? Tell me. And if they are rising, because they point to these islands are being overcome. They're going underwater now. Well, islands have gone underwater for millions of years. Islands have come up out of the water for millions of years through volcanoes and earthquakes and stuff. Japan had that great big huge earthquake and that tsunami where the seafloor moved and everything. What about displacement? What if there's a giant swell in the oceans, on the floor of the oceans, like a mountain popping up? That's displacement. Wouldn't that make the sea level rise? Maybe to flood some of these little islands out? How much displacement? Now, I'm not saying there's been enough, but I'm tossing it out there so you get the concept. The volcanoes in Hawaii and other places around the world have been adding land mass. Well, if all this lava spewing out, it's displacing the water. Do you understand the concept of displacement? Maybe it's not because of the ice caps melting. Maybe it's because of other reasons. They can't even, one year they show you a picture of the ice caps. Oh, shoot, there's more ice than there's ever been. And next year, oh, no, it's all melting. Glaciers have been melting and fading away for millions of years. You would be under a mile of ice in the United States right now if the glaciers hadn't melted. So, I'm putting these ideas out there, and, people just need to stop following the emotional, rambling, tweaker herds. I mean, if you're involved in all that crap up in Portland and everything, there's a bunch of tweakers took over that city. And that goofy-ass mayor up there, I didn't know it, her name being Brown. Somebody told me she's related to who was Governor Jerry Brown. Well, that explains a lot. But the reporter asked her about, Thanksgiving. Hey, because they put in some dopey rule about how many people you can have in your house for Thanksgiving. Well, what if people see one of their neighbors is having too many? You get this? This should worry you a lot, because this is what went on in communist countries and the Nazis. Call in on your neighbor. Call the law on your neighbor. Not for some heinous thing because they were disobeying the party. Do you understand? They were disobeying mandates by the party. And that's what these are. These are mandates. These weren't passed by legislation. These governors and these people going, hey, you can't have this many people at your house. And then they go out and they do all kinds of, they go and do whatever the fuck they want to do. But she tells this reporter, well, just like if there's a loud party down the street or something like that, what do? You call the police. So if you see more people at a house for Thanksgiving than should be there, call the police. Well, you defunded the cops. You wouldn't let the cops go out and stop the people burning shit down and looting. But you're going to send them to kick somebody's door in for eating fucking turkey with their relatives? Oh my God, what the hell is going on in this country? What is wrong with you friggin' people? You friggin' people that listen to you voted for these fucking morons. How much do you have to see, or do you pay attention to anything? Anything at all? Do you have any kind of common sense to look at this woman and go, she's out of her fucking mind? And what's going to happen if some white, quote-unquote, Karen calls the police on her black neighbors who have too many people there? Huh? What then, Mayor of Portland? Some of your African-American citizens have the cops called on them by white people because they have too many people over there for turkey and football. How the hell do you keep voting for these lunatics? And even if you have voted for them, maybe you're the ones who ought to go to them and say, hey, you're going too far. We voted for you. We supported you. But hey, this is bullshit. You're the ones who should have to go and tell them. You put them in fucking office. You're the ones who should have to go and tell them, hey, you people are getting carried away here. Hey, why do these businesses and families have to go broke with your shutdowns, and you're allowing, all the big corporate shit and all the airlines and all the NFL teams to keep operating? You voted for them. Put their feet to the fire. Because you know damn well none of you are going to abide by their Thanksgiving shit. It'll be all right if they go out and if the cops go out and bust conservative, if they go out and bust Trump supporters for too many people at Thanksgiving, you'll be all for that. But if they come and knock to your liberal ass fucking door, you ain't going to like that shit. But I guarantee that the cops won't be patrolling the hood or the where all the tweakers hang out and stuff. They won't be patrolling those neighborhoods looking for Thanksgiving Day violators. Is there something I don't know? Do liberals have something against Thanksgiving? Is this a holiday they want to get rid of? Like they want to abolish Christmas and stuff? Is this another one? It's too American? That Thanksgiving, it's evil. It's too American. It's too freaking American. Got to get rid of that Thanksgiving Day. I wouldn't doubt it. These people are twisted. These people are friggin' twisted. It's just absolutely amazing. And you can't get through to any of these brain-dead liberals. I mean, even if they're old people, don't seem to, they're some of the worst liberals. They won't hear a word you have to say. And hey, we're getting rid of Thanksgiving. We're getting rid of Christmas. We're going to do this. We're going to And you know what's coming down the pike sooner or later, you know, it's going to be population control. You know, like China has that one-child policy and stuff and everything. Which the world does have to think about population and stuff, and how do you, you know, curtail that? I don't think through abortion. Maybe education. Hey, one kid's enough. After that, get your tubes tied, get a vasectomy, get, you know, whatever. So those are other things to talk about, you know, the future of the earth and population and sustainability. I mean, the communist countries and stuff, and the Nazis and all, they had no problem killing millions of civilians of their own. You know, but in the Western world, that's not something we look upon as an answer for anything. You know, and even, you know, abortion and all that was supported by these eugenists and, you know, these racists and stuff like that. So, but it is something to consider. We do, at this point, live in a finite world. And unless, as we progress and everything, we're able to go and terraform Mars or Venus or something and keep moving on, it is a question that has to be dealt with sometime in human history, human future. Anyhow, save that for another time. Wish you all the best out there. Have a good Thanksgiving. Hope the liberal, you know, stormtroopers don't come kicking in your door while you're reaching for that stuffing. All right, wish you all the best out there. God bless. Adios.